きげんよう、キングネゴと申します。どうぞよろしくお願いします。Hello, hi. Um, how are you doing? What's good? Hello. Hi, Rice. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Lucha. Hello, hello, hello. And hello, anyone in chat. Um, I missed you. It's been a moment. It's definitely feeling like it's been a hot moment, especially because, for one, the last month has just been extraordinarily busy. So it's like, wow, what time do I have to like do anything? Like, and be with you guys? Because there's really hasn't been much of it in these past couple weeks, it feels like, between moving and then Anime Expo, and then it's only gonna go up from here because I am planning on going to Offkai. Woo! uh, Hi, Fruit. Hello. Um, but we're back. It's nice. I'm just getting like my feet wet in the water again. So I thought we could catch up a little bit on some adventures I've been up to. Yeah. Particularly like where I went because I've been out of town and like I mentioned like the who, what, when, where, and why, but like not we didn't really talk about like too much about it afterwards. Now did we? That's not it. That's not it. There it is. Yeah, so I hope everyone's well though. Hope everyone's good. Yeah, now these back to back cons are really emptying my wallet. Whoo boy, yeah. My friend was like, we should go to dinner again. I'm like, girl, let my wallet recover for a second. Like, please. Please. Like, I can't. I cannot. Um But yeah, Anime Expo. She was cute. She was fun. She was nice. I liked her. There are parts I liked, particularly the company I kept more than anything. But there's parts I liked about the convention too, and we can talk about that. Yeah, that whole trip wasn't cheap. Okay, so some of y'all also went to Anime Expo. Work. Yeah, Anime Expo is not cheap, nor for the faint of heart. And it was packed. Ooh, we will get into details about that. Trust and believe. Oh boy. I think what's really nice is we can talk about my experience, which isn't showing up on the fucking screen for some reason. Okay, please stand by. Girl, why are you not showing? You're supposed to show. Hi, Alec. How was the sweaty deodorantless hole known at Anime Expo? Or we're gonna try to get into it if my monitor will like get its shit together and like actually show my screen. There we go. Can y'all see that? Please tell me if not, because I'm gonna be so sad if it doesn't. I'm gonna be so mad if it doesn't. I see. Okay. I'm glad. I'm glad you have eyes. I kind of want to like just the slightest like I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah, I think that's fine. IC2B. Yes, my Ushikatsu. I always have to start off AX or any thread I have that involves me immersion breaking with, of course, my Ushikatsu, my Kami Oshi, my wife to be. This is the view from my hotel. If you look to the left of Anime Expo, Quite quite the sight. Love seeing all of these unfinished buildings covered in graffiti because people just embellish too much and never want to complete anything in the state of California. Work. Love that. But Anime Expo itself wasn't too bad. Where was it held this year? Anime Expo was held, as always, as it's been for a historically long time, at the Los Angeles Convention Center. They have a long-standing contract with the city, along with an official Anime Expo date for your information. So AX is kind of stuck there. So if you're ever wondering, like, why doesn't AX move? Like, they literally can't. Like, the city has, like, an official acknowledgement of the event. Like, I think they're stuck. So, yay! Love that. And this was all in the downtown Los Angeles, where many of things were going on. Not just Anime Expo, but also, like, people, like, enjoying the World Cup. Wow, that was a lot. Loved her. Um, and that was really cool. $200 parking fees. We love her. And apparently official 2B cosplayers at the Azur Lane booth. Oh, I saw a photo of that actually. I saw photos of that 2B. She was hot. Love her. But I digress, starting off with just like what happened after last Tuesday evening when I hopped off my rival stream where I am going to finish out this season in Diamond 1. It's no if, and, or buts. I'm not playing the season until my wonderful Jubilation Lee is out and into the field. Like, that's just how it is. Like, so stay tuned for that. But I kind of just spent the next 3 hours of Tuesday evening packing before bed. And so I went to sleep at like 2 a.m. in the morning and didn't really wake up until like 6:30 a.m. on like what I call day 0, which is just Wednesday, the day before con. Boom. Mic effect. Mic drop. I woke up at like 6:30, but like nothing really happened. Like my friend group was still getting ready. My ride was still getting ready. So they had nothing for me to do. So I kind of just drifted in and out of sleep until 8 a.m. Like, that's what I did. Meanwhile, my friend group is like scrambling around being like, we got to get this together. We got to get that together. And I'm just kind of like, so text my phone. I'm like, I don't have to do anything yet. Okay. Like, I just kind of like drifted in and out of sleep. It was really nice. You know that feeling you get when you like drift in and out of sleep, but in a really good way, like that kind of like type of REM cycle, but not really a REM cycle. You're just kind of like lounging, snoozing in bed. That was me, day 0, from 6:30 a.m. to about 8 a.m. And then I actually got up at 8 a.m. and like started to get my shit together, which was just being decently clothed for public and a ride down to Los Angeles and bringing my stuff down because I have stairs now at my new apartment and that's not so fun. But like we got it together. I was able to get my things. This was the first time I actually brought a water pack to Anime Expo because I was scared I was going to die of heat stroke because historically I've just like died of heat stroke in the past. And yes, I was slumped. I'm just really, really engaged with you guys, okay? Like, if I'm slumping, it's because I'm engaging with you. I also have a really bad posture when I am on the mic. I'm trying to be better about it. But I also have, like, a really soft-spoken voice. So, like, it's really hard to hear me sometimes, is what people have told me. And so she's working on it. It's a work in progress. But I'm back. And I'm trying to be better about my posture. And maybe I should just scoot into my desk a little bit more and get a little closer to my mic instead of just trying to lean in. But, Anime Expo wasn't that bad weather-wise. But I still brought a water pack, and my friends and I pooled money together. I actually owe them money, and that's later. But we pooled resources together to buy 2 commercial boxes of Pocari Sweat because at this point in our lives, going to conventions, we've tried the Gatorades, we've tried the liquid IVs, We found out that Pocari Sweat is actually the most pleasant experience after an accidental purchase at FanFest. Because the same group I go with, half the group I went to like FanFest with, also came with me to Anime Expo. So that was really fun to find out. So we got Pocari Sweat. So we've been doing that for about 3 conventions now, and I don't think we're ever gonna stop because it's actually like kind of the nicest experience I've had trying to hydrate myself frequently. Because Pocari Sweat is actually really yummy compared to Gatorade, Liquid IV, and like other like hydration methods. So she was cute. So at about like 9:30 a.m., I actually finally get picked up to finally head to Anime Expo, and we arrived like pretty mid afternoon, I would say. I think we arrived at like, honestly, between like pit stops and stuff, because like we had to get gas, we had to eat food, people had to use the bathroom, like, and there was traffic. There's always traffic. There's always LA traffic. Like, it doesn't matter what time of year you would go to LA, but like, particularly July 4th weekend, there's LA traffic. So I just didn't really do anything on the ride down. I was morale. I was vibes. I stayed awake 90% of the time. I usually fall asleep really quickly on car rides like this. Um, but I really have tried to make an endeavor to stay more engaged with my friends. Like, before I left last week, I talked about like the attempt to be more extroverted. I am trying to be more extroverted with my friends too. And so I tried my best to stay awake for the car ride down to Anime Expo, and I think I only fell asleep for like an hour. So that's really good for someone like me who, one, gets pretty car sick occasionally, so I have to sleep through most of these rides, which means I didn't get car sick. And then two, I was extroverted in the car ride down. Barely was on my phone, which is also probably a really huge factor to like some of my nausea, because sometimes I read too long on the phone, in the car down. Hey Ghost. But like, we get to the hotel. My hotel's pretty nice. I think I can dox myself now at this point of where I was staying. I was staying at the JW Marriott. She's cute, love her. The amenities are always nice. Fun fact, half the lobby is under construction at the JW Marriott. So like, most people who like drinking and chilling at the JW Marriott for like quote unquote lobby con, which is like a whole other natural event where a lot of like the chiller convention goers like to congregate after hours. Couldn't really, because again, JW's under construction. The lobby's under construction. Oh, all of these alcoholics have nowhere to drink. Most of them disappear. But like they kind of still stuck around in the evening time. Like you saw them if you were staying in that hotel. Yeah. And, half the convention center was also under construction too, but we don't talk about her. We'll get to her later. We don't talk about her yet. Yeah, so JW Marriott, I like the hotel a lot, to be honest with you. I've stayed at a good amount of hotels, or met up with friends who stayed at other hotels within the area. For context, I've been going to Anime Expo since almost 10 years. Ooh, wow. Oh, that's kind of crazy. My first Anime Expo was 2014. I took a brief break in between, and my next one after that was 2017. Since 2017, I've been consistently going to Anime Expo on a yearly basis, ignoring COVID. COVID times prevented everyone from going to Anime Expo. I wasn't the only one, but because of that, I have been going to Anime Expo for almost a 10-year duration, when you do the math. I budget well, I guess. But I've stayed at a lot of hotels there. I've stayed at the JW Marriott multiple times. I've stayed at the Courtyard Marriott twice. And I've stayed at the Ritz-Carlton twice. Of the 3 hotels I've stayed at, JW Marriott is the most balanced between the 3. Ritz is way too damn expensive. Courtyard is just a tad bit too far for my taste, as somebody who, like, still cosplays on occasion. and also just likes the amenities that JW Marriott offers, which includes a coffee in the lobby and just really nice staff overall. Not that like the Ritz Carlton doesn't have like shitty staff. Like the Ritz Carlton actually has some of the best staff you'll probably ever experience like within downtown Los Angeles. But like Courtyard Marriott one time in about like I want to say 2018 had a year where they were like, oh, we're gonna start wristbanding you. Like, granted, every hotel in the vicinity that had AAX hotel blocks was doing that, but Courtyard was especially strict, so we had to like figure out how we're gonna like get people in with wristbands or without wristbands. That's a whole other hassle, and I'm really digressing here and giving out like lore that like really doesn't exist for some of you guys or just doesn't even matter because we're talking about 2026 Anime Expo, not 2018 Anime Expo. Although she was really cute back then. I was much younger back then. I myself have been going to Anime Expo since 2005. Ooh, wow. That's you're a veteran. But congrats to those who Anime Expo was this year was their first. It's always wonderful when you get to pop your cherry for a new convention. I think that's always fun. It's been a while since I felt that magic. Off Kai 2 years ago was the last time I felt that kind of magic. Um, but day zero of Anime Expo. She was lovely. She was nice. We check in, and so I decide. Well, I don't decide. We actually were planning this. We actually planned this out about 2 weeks in advance. I'm a planner when it comes to these things, so I actually like copy pasted previous Excel sheets we've made for planning Anime Expo and just like remade an Excel sheet for this year's Anime Expo because, like, to put it to perspective, when I went to dinner that evening of day zero, we had a group of 20 people. 20. We had a group of 20. So you kind of have to plan shit out like really well in order for anything to go smoothly. Um, so my group and I go to Duck BBQ, but not before I check into my hotel. I did make sure to do that. And I actually got very lucky. I got very lucky because apparently the sweet spot that year for checking into my hotel and getting on a floor with the rest of my friends was around 3 to 5. And when I checked in, I got a free upgrade from a king suite to a double, which was lovely because I was staying with two other people within my friend group. So I got a bed all to myself. Yippee! Yeah, because the other two people in the hotel room were a couple. And so it's kind of a given that they would get a bed to themselves, and then I would sleep in a bed myself after that. Originally, we were going to do a pull-out if we stuck with the king, but because we got upgraded to a double, and this is the workers' words, because we were first come, first served, we basically got lucky and got that double upgrade for free. What my friend's theory was that, like, some people think that some of the hotels that AX, like, goers booked got overbooked, and so JW Marriott staff had to basically just upgrade certain people based off like status or timing, because some of my friends actually got free upgrades, not just myself. One of my friends got an upgrade to a suite instead of a like king. They got like a full ass suite upgrade, so they ended up being in like a 2 bedroom essentially for the weekend. And then other friends, I think they got like some free amenities here and there, but like I think the biggest upgrades were mine and my other friend's hotel room. Yeah, but we were a very massive group. In previous years, I've had to like figure out the logistics for groups of like 8 or even 12. 20 is probably the biggest I've ever done. And so dinner was like kind of a huge ordeal because people were late. People were late, and I just felt really bad for the waitresses who like seated us because like most of the group was there but not everybody, and so like, you know, because like a good portion of my friend group and myself are Asian, we have that like polite sensibility. I'm just saying it because like I feel like this is an Asian thing, but this could be also just the people thing of you kind of wait for everyone to show up before you start eating. Like you wait for everyone to get their food before you go in and eat. And so we waited as long as we could for our friends to show up who were running late, but then at some point we were just like it's been like almost 20-30 minutes. We're just going to start without them. Like we'll just get sides going. Um and so that was happening. That was good. Day zero food was absolutely wonderful. And you can see some of the food we had here. That was my day zero meal. A lot of barbecue and sides. I really enjoyed these sides. I particularly love this radish dish here, like that's in orange. It's so good. It's so yummy. It's like kind of like a sour, like radish dish, but it's like my particular favorite of like all of the parts from this meal. I've been to this restaurant like a couple times now. Shout out to like my foodie friend who like really just knows a bunch of like food places in Los Angeles, and just like certain hotspots. Like they just kind of like have a pulse for things in LA. I kind of consider them like they're not an extrovert, but they're probably our most socialite friend. So they tend to like learn stuff about things, or people tend to tell them about stuff, and then they let us like our friend group know about these things, and we start going to them. So it's nice. It's really nice. And this was really good. This was really yummy. Um, it was a really small mom and pop business in Koreatown. So I really enjoyed my meal here because we go to this all the time. We went to this actually during FanFest as well, and I really enjoyed myself. So that was first meal of the convention. And so, pretty much after that, we kind of just went back to one person's hotel room, one of the bigger ones, and then just like cost crunch for a little bit and hung out there. I didn't have too much to cost crunch because a lot of the cosplay I already brought was pretty much ready or had been ready for a while now. So honestly, all I did was like recurl some wigs, cut out some strayaways, spray down some hair. Like that's all it took. You got shown a really good ice cream place. Oh my god, I had such a huge craving for like ice cream and shave ice this weekend. It's not even funny. And trust me, I get into that. I fulfill those cravings during the Anime Expo weekend. Trust and believe. But I enjoyed the meal. I enjoyed dinner. I enjoyed hanging out with a lot of my friends on day zero because it was going to be a while before I would see all of them together again. Uh, so like yeah, that's like kind of the nice thing about being in like a large group, but also kind of like the finicky thing about being in a large group because all of us, even though we're friends, we actually don't have too many like similar interests that align with each other. Like some of us like FF14, but not all of us even like FF14 to the same degrees. Um and then like if you take out FF14 as like a large like connector between everyone's like I guess similar interests or likes, then like I guess the only other thing all of us like to a degree is Fate. Like we all at some point in our friend group, like in my friend group, have played Fate Grand Order, and we all like Fate, so that's kind of the one commonality we have. But the thing is, Fate as a game is dead. Fate, like none of us play Fate Grand Order anymore. We all played Fate Grand Order when we met, but like because the UI never changes and the like they just don't do anything in that app other than story like progression. Like none of us have played it since. I think the last time I saw FGO was actually the JP 10-year anniversary. As like Castoria came out, and so like I watched my friends roll for it, but I didn't feel like downloading it again. Meanwhile, you're still playing it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to roast you like that. I'm sorry. It's not my fault the game is low key dead. It still gets money. Like it's not like it's dead. It's just in the grand scheme of like all these other gotcha games, like it just doesn't do as well. I say that even though like Fate Grand Order literally had a booth at Anime Expo this year. So what do I know? I know nothing. I invested too much to give up. That is your decision. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell you to not do it. I'm not gonna tell you to do like to keep going. But I I was playing that game F2P, so I was able to dip pretty quickly. I was able to get out pretty safely. Um, but like that was day zero. Just having travel, a good meal, getting into the hotel safe and sound, and then falling asleep sometime around 1 in the morning and getting up the next day at about 8. Um, I got up at like 8 a.m. like specifically just so that I could attend the Anime Expo fashion show. Like this was my first time actually ever going to it. Um, but then like I've never actually paid attention to a lot of the fashion that was at Anime Expo, to be honest. I've always looked at pictures. I've always looked at pictures, but I never particularly thought about attending in person. And so, for some reason, this year in particularly, there was a brand I actually really wanted to see at Anime Expo. And they were participating in the fashion show. This is a Misamaru. They're a kimono themed clothing brand. They came up in about 2024, and this was their first year at Anime Expo and being highlighted um, in the Anime Expo fashion show. Unfortunately, they did not have a booth, which I think was absolutely horrid. But it did save me some dollars, so I like can't be too mad about the fact that I got to save money. But I had to wake up at 8:30 because I also was like I have to get into makeup and like get ready in the cosplay. So like I first like actually woke up at 8:30 to do makeup cuz just to be ready in a timely manner because I had a cosplay group at like 2 ish. Yeah, and this fashion show started at like 10:30 and ran until about 12:30. I didn't even stay for the whole thing now that I think about it. To be so real with you, I literally only stuck around for like 3 brands out of like 5. Like I stuck around like for Hoshibako Works, which was the um first fashion brand to come out. Then the second brand was BB Sama, which is like streetwear. Hoshibako Works is like Lolita, which is really cute. I actually really like them. Second to Misamaru, so I might try to buy something from Hoshibako Works, probably in Japan, um, not in America. But Misamaru was really nice. I really liked Misamaru. I thought they were really cute. I thought the brand was really nice. I thought both were really nice. BB Sama was alright. It was just streetwear. Um, I've been to a lot of cons for like a really long time, and I've seen kind of the development of fashion at conventions for a really long time. So for me, as much as like I was really excited by the embroidery and creativity of like certain styles of BB Sama as a whole, I wasn't really like that excited. And this is no offense to BB Sama. I think like actually it's a huge improvement from the past couple of years of fashion, but like this year was still kind of just okay for me. It's also just they had collabs for not brands, well brands, but anime brands that I was like I'm not interested in these anime. Like they had a collab with Baki, and I'm like I'm not watching Baki. Like let's be real, I'm not watching Baki. So like I was really just like this is great that you guys are kind of having your comeback, your big one here, but I'm like I just don't care. And so Misamaru and Hoshibako Works ended up being my favorite brand. Um, and after Misamaru like kind of had their showcase at the Anime Expo fashion show, this is one of their outfits by the way, Misamaru's. Very kimono silhouette. You can see their kimono inspired silhouette. You can see there. Um, I still wanted to see if they might have a booth. Like, I knew they weren't gonna have a booth, but I still wanted to check because there was like a part of me that like wanted to hold out on hope, and I was leaving the fashion show early anyways. So I was like, I'm just gonna see where all these fashion show booths are because they had the fashion show, but their booths were actually in the West Hall, which is formerly known as the Entertainment Hall. For those of you who haven't been to Anime Expo, so I go to the West Hall and all these other fashion brands from the fashion show are there. Like Hoshibako Works is there, BB Sama's there. Misamaru's not there because again they only showed up to do the fashion show, which is great out of home marketing. Like great form of marketing for them. Like I hope their brand blows up even further. Like that's great. I hope more people find out about them through Anime Expo. But goddamn, could you have not brought a booth? Could you have not brought some of your product to sell? Like, oh, I would have spent so much money, a disgusting amount of money, if they had the booth in person, if they had their clothes available in person to purchase. But that did not happen, so I did not spend an ungodly amount of money. Instead, I was just sad for like a good 5 minutes, and then I left to go back to my hotel room. Um, I will say though, I felt bad for the Hoshibako Works booth because that booth was so disorganized. Like, you know when you go to a shop and you just don't you look in with a goal in mind of like I would like to buy something. I would like to buy an article of clothing or whatever you're needing. But everything is so disorganized and all the people around the shop are just messing with too much for you to even entertain the thought of entering the shop. That's what it felt like look walking up to Hoshibako Works booth and walking past it multiple times. There were Lolita, EGL, like K girls like going at it because the styles are really cute. But they fashion the booth in a way that like puts way too much trust in Americans. Americans, I'll say it. Americans just ransack things. Westerners love to ransack things if you organize anything in a way that lets them. So the booth was like a little bit unappealing to look at because they kind of just hung everything real boring and like kind of allowed it to get ransacked here and there. And so I had no inclination to buy anything. And so I went back to my hotel room. And I decided I'm just going to go and keep getting ready in cosplay. Because I have a cosplay group to be attending, and I need to, well, do that and like own up to obligations. So it was like, all right, it was chill. I got ready in a timely manner, and then I met up with friends for our cosplay group, and then we took a bunch of pictures on TikToks before we left for J-Pop Sound Capsule. And that was also fun in itself. I enjoyed that. The J-Pop Sound Capsule was really cool. Um, I saw a couple other cosplays as well. These were really fun. This Emma cosplayer, so good. Really nice. She did the default pose so well. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I was very happy. I thought her armor pieces like are so good. And her leg pieces were so good, like very lore accurate Emma Frost cosplayer. I loved it. I think she's corseted. I don't remember particularly, but I'm like I think she wore a corset for this, which like props to you, mama. Like go off. Yeah, you can see the indent here. She's wearing a corset. Love that for her. You better work. She really did that. And then also saw a bunch of like Rock Lee cosplayers. That was also very funny with like one guy there. I think while I saw them, they were actually playing a Naruto theme song, so that was really funny actually. So that was really fun being in a cosplay group again. Being in a really large cosplay group actually, that was really cool. Um, yeah, I enjoyed that. Speaking of booths, by the time I got to AX on Friday, there's like a ton of booths of stuff already sold out. Yeah, that was kind of annoying. I saved a lot more money than I thought I was going to because a lot of booths were sold out. You let your homies take your Dodge Nitro out there for a speed race. That's really generous of you. Were you not afraid of it getting crashed or wrecked or just fucked up or anything? Because that's commendable. Like, that's you being a really good friend. But hey, I don't drive, so like that's not my problem. One second. I'm gonna grab water. Whee! Woo. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. Anyways, so at some point, J-pop Sound Capsule starts up, right? Like, I go to J-pop Sound Capsule, which was pretty cool. If you ask me, there's 2B again. She's vibing. I got really close, actually. I was actually kind of, like, not expecting these seats to be super duper close the way I was. Like, I bought the tickets actually, but I don't remember like us picking it to be that close, but we were just close. Like, I think we were only a row behind VIP actually, which is a pleasant surprise. VIP was way too expensive. We had a budget, so we kind of just stuck to the budget, and the budget meant we were like slightly behind VIP of J-pop Sound Capsule, which was really lovely. The lineup included Yoko Kano, Ali, Rosalia, Spy Air, and Yoko Takahashi. I think that was the full lineup. I could be incorrect. I could also like not remember. Let me double check. J-pop Sound Capsule did include the likes of... Oh, they didn't announce everybody back then. Back when it was first announced, they didn't mention everybody. What was the lineup looking like? Oh yeah, it was all 5 of them. I was right. That was a long concert. That was 3 hours, and that was just 5 different... That was just 5 artists. I didn't realize how long that concert was. It was longer than Hololive. But, I enjoyed it immensely. May I say one thing about J-pop Sound Capsule, which is, actually 2 things. First, J-pop Sound Capsule, I think from a sales point of view, did not perform well because they were giving out tickets through boba sales. Like, if you wanted to the day of, you could actually get a free ticket into J-pop Sound Capsule if you bought a boba drink at the boba, like, at Anime Expo's booth, like at one of the beer garden booths, actually. Fun fact. That was like day of. And then I think at some point they were just letting people in for free. Granted, you got like some of the worst seats for the experience, but like you still got in for free, which is pretty nice compared to some other people like me who paid for my seat. So that was really unfortunate to hear, but I could kind of understand why it didn't sell as well as it could have because of the lineup primarily. Yeah, you saw that? Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, so I think the issue was this was a lineup of artists that predominantly was for a certain age group of people who started watching anime at a certain time. Also, hi, Brando. I appreciate the aggressive positivity check-in. You're amazing. I'm proud of you. Anime Expo. J-pop Sound Capsule. The lineup. Definitely not for the demographic of anime watchers who, even if you're in your 30s, if you didn't start watching anime, at least from, like, the early 2000s, you kind of miss out on, like, so many references. I'm just saying. Especially for Yoko Kano and Yoko Takahashi, which are, like, kind of, like, the bigger names that were on this lineup here, especially Yoko Kano. Like, I don't think people are expecting Yoko Kano to be like as chill as she was. Like, she chose a lineup that was surprisingly quiet because she only brought out a piano and nothing else. No band, no backings. Although Yoko Takahashi did show up for a little bit and the two of them performed together, so that was really cool. It was the performance of a lifetime with the Yokos. So that was nice. That was cool. Just in the way I apparently doubled my own praises. There was double the Yokos. So that was really good in itself. I enjoyed the concert a lot. Like some of my favorite artists were there, Yoko Kano and Yoko Takahashi. I was just satisfied with that. I got my money's worth to seeing that, especially because Yoko Kano and Yoko Takahashi, two of that the both of them performing together, that's rare. That may never happen again. Like, but honestly, my dark horse for like all the artists was actually Ali. Um, Alien Liberty International. Apparently they've been a solo act for the past couple years, which I didn't know about because I don't really follow them as an artist. But like the singer, the vocalist, is like a solo act now, and he brought a lot of hype to the concert that really kind of pumped up like the rest of the audience and like the rest of the concert after Yoko Kano's performance, which by the way, Yoko Kano's performance was really great. I think her performance was the representation of what happens when you have an audience who doesn't understand any of the artist references except for like one song, which was Tank, which is Cowboy Bebop's like opening theme. And she did other songs too. She did some of her original work, her non-anime work, which may have been like a shot in the foot for herself. And then she decided to close things out with the Real Folk Blues, Cowboy Bebop's ending theme song. But she decided to do a sing-along, which, again, kind of comes to the issue of the audience doesn't know the song because they don't get the reference because they didn't watch anime like that deeply enough. Like they know Tank because Tank's just that good of a song. Like it's generational, but Real Folk Blues is not as generational. So I enjoyed her performance immensely. I don't think other people could say the same just because they don't get the references. Like the girls who know, and the girls who don't. And then Ali was able to pick it back up a lot following that. And so I really was hyped about it. He performed, a lot of anime hits, which really worked in his favor because he has more modern songs that, most of the audience was hyped about. And then Rosalia showed up. Rosalia, I hadn't even heard about until literally, like, the lineup was announced. So I was like, okay, they're a J-rock idol band who also happens to, like, you have a similar model to Love Live, where they have anime characters as their avatars. Not VTubers. They are not VTubers. They just have a bunch of music videos that are modeled like Love Lives, where like a lot of their visuals incorporated like anime avatars of themselves, like actual animation, not live 2D. So not VTubers. And also they still performed in person with instruments because they're a band, which is cool. But like, that's not the reason I came out for the show. So I was kind of like, all right, they're chill, they're cool. It's alright. Spire was next. Spire was cool. I think I could have enjoyed Spire more if I had more of an emotional connection to Haikyuu. But I don't. Spire did a lot of Haikyuu songs. I don't really care about sports anime when it involves way too many guys. So I was like, okay, like these songs I've heard of. Like I have heard of these songs, but I was like, I have no emotional attachment to them. Not in the way that some of these fans do, not in the way the Haikyuu fans do. So it was very much just like, I'm just vibing here. I just kind of like enjoyed myself, like just vibing. And then Yoko Takahashi came out. And that's when I really popped off. That's when I really like popped off fully. Listening to Yoko Takahashi and knowing every single song on the list from like She sang, I think, three, four songs in total. She talked too. She's pretty good at English. Apparently, she originally had classical singing as her background. I did not know that, but it makes so much sense all of a sudden. So she has shot up immediately in my ranking of artists to like top 10. She used to be, I would say she was like top 20, but now she's like top 10. Love her. Loved her so much. She sang Tamashi no refrain, tomato, tomato. She sang Fly Me to the Moon, super nice, super cute, fun. And of course, she sang Zankoku no Tenshi no Teze. Is that the title? You would think I would know better because this is Eva opening theme 1, and I just don't remember the title fully. Zankoku na tenshi no teze, or, a cruel angel's thesis. Div Eva opening theme song that everybody knows, and if you don't, you're like fucking trash. Why are you here? Like, why'd you go to Anime Expo? Like, to begin with. But everyone at J-pop Sound Capsule knew, so it's fine. Everyone knew that song, just like everyone knew the Gintama ending theme for Spire. Everyone knew that song somehow, including me. But Yoko Takahashi was great. She was literally like the main reason I went to J-pop Sound Capsule. Yoko Kanno was like a good reason, but Yoko Takahashi became like the best reason, like such a good reason. So I really, really enjoyed myself when she came up. I was standing like I think like the whole time she was singing. Even when my friend sat down, I still stood up. But like I really loved the performance a lot, and overall I thought the concert was pretty good. I think I'd give it like for the ambiance and vibes, I give it like a 8 out of 10, an 8 out of 10. And just some extra pictures. Apparently some Chinese Anime Expo fans brought this little Anime Expo J-Pop Sound Capsule 2026 flower display to celebrate the artists coming. Particularly, I think this was for the Rosalia artists because you usually give these to idols. But I still thought like, oh, this is really cool. That's really pretty. So I took a picture. And then just, seeing the whole venue. This was actually my first time in the crypto arena. I've never been to the crypto arena before this. So I didn't even know what it was like until that day. And then there were streamers at the end. Like, ribbon streamers at the end of Yoko Takahashi's, like, performance. So I just kind of took some as, like, evidence. Yay. And then there's some Lupin the Third that I think Ali's band was doing. You can't hear this, though. Can you hear that? You can't hear that. Damn. All that work for what? Nothing. Maybe if I switch the output on. No. That wouldn't be very fun now, would it? Let me pause this real quick. Figure this out. Technical difficulties. Please hold. Nope, that doesn't work. This is not muted. Girl. Let's try this again. This doesn't work either. Okay, we'll just I don't know. I don't know. I heard you did hear saxophone. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that was at the J-pop sound capsule. Cool. Yay. Um and now how do I rehide that so that like we never have that happen again? Sources? I don't know how to unhide that anymore. Oh dear. Oh well, we'll figure it out later. Anyways, we're just getting started with day 2. Although I think that's a great time to take a break, so I might have lied about like being how was my trip? It was good. I was thinking about taking a break, but like never mind. We can start talking about day 2. Day 2 was lovely. Actually after day 1, what did I do after day or before day 1 fully ended? Like before day 1 fully ended. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Not really, no. That was kind of it. Day 2. The Gachiakta panel. This convention was the first time I woke up consistently at the same time, which was approximately 8 in the morning. Between 8 to like 8:30 in the morning is how I like when I woke up like almost every con. Also, I realized the audio's not even going. The audio's not even going. We're back. We're so back. Okay. Day 2. I woke up at 8 again to put on makeup again for the Gachiakta panel because I care about this show, even though I am only reading the manga. I came out because I wanted to see the PV, and I also just wanted to like see the voice actor Ishikawa Aoi, aka Rudo's Japanese voice actor, who is surprisingly very soft spoken compared to his voice acting for Rudo. Rudo's very much just like he's not the quietest shonen protagonist. I don't even know if I'd call Gachiakuta shonen, but like, to generalize, I guess it's closer to a shonen than anything else. Ugh. I digress. His voice, Rudo's voice actor is really quiet, like in a very much just like this guy's shy type of quiet. So I was actually really surprised by that, but the panel was pretty cool. Um, I enjoyed it. The crowd was really hype because people like Gachiakta a lot now. It's kind of crazy. A year ago, when like the panel for the mangaka and the graffiti artist was going, it wasn't even a full house. Like it wasn't even a full panel room. There was still space in like the back that you could have just walked in and sat down for. And then the world premiere filled up pretty well, I would say, but it wasn't in a theater. It was in a panel room in the JW Marriott. And then this year, this was basically a full house in Peacock Theater. Like it was packed. And people were super hyped for the PV. There were like a ton of cosplayers too, which was like a completely different environment to last year's panel. So that was really exciting. That was really cool to see. It was pretty easy to get into the panel, um, all things considered, but I already knew it was going to be a shit show leaving. Like, they were actually giving out art. No, they were not. They actually told us we couldn't take any art entering, and I already knew, just from the fact that they wouldn't let us take art in the beginning of the panel, that it's like, this is going to be a shit show when we all leave. Like, it's going to be so messy when we leave because everyone's going to want this art at the end and no one's going to get in line properly. And 1 hour later, what happens? What happens? What do you think happened? Did you think everybody got into a orderly single file line after the Gachiakuta panel ended for an Anime Expo exclusive art print? No. 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 It was chaos. It was disgusting. Anarchy. Exactly. Anarchy. It is horrible. I still got that free art print. And I gave my friend his art print too because he forgot to like take it from me like a day later. And so the Gacha panel as a whole was really fun. There's a PV. We got some exclusive voice acting from Ruto's voice actors, so that in itself was really cool. But we also have an ad coming up. So I will talk about more of day 2 shortly because we have more to do, but this ad's coming up and I need to use the bathroom, so I'm going to use the bathroom while this ad break goes on. So we'll be right back. We're only getting through the first half of Anime Expo in this conversation. And I'll see you soon. Hello, we're back. Can you see my screen? My screen says yes, but like also simultaneously no. This is really horrid. Yeah, the screen's black. Can't see shit. Love that. Love that, love that, love that. Let's come back here for a moment while I fix this. Welcome back. It's nice to be back. Even though we are having technical difficulties. Can you see this? Oh, you can see this now. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Maybe because I'm technically switching between URLs every time I click on a different picture, but like, I'm not in tech. What do I know? Anyways, I'm actually really curious. Can you guys hear the dogs when they bark? Like, if they bark loud enough? Because, like, I do have a gap in my, like, room still under, like, my door that I am needing to, like, fill up and close out. So, like, we're working on that. You did hear the dogs. Love. That's funny. I do need to like soundproof a bit better though. I feel really bad because like I just moved in and like I'm also kind of a loud ass in my own way every time I play video games and stream and just be on a channel and like yap. So I really should like also soundproof myself so that I'm also not being a disturbance. So I can't be too hypocritical about it. But anyways, Gachi panel. She was cute. We liked her. The fandom's really chill. Everyone's hype about it. Can't wait for season 2. Yeah. Um, After that, after day 2 panel, I kind of just walked around with my friend, who came with me. So we just kind of explored the con a little bit because I didn't really do that much of exploring on day 1 because I was in a cosplay group. So day 2 is a little bit more exploration. I always love getting like one picture of Anime Expo from like this type of angle, like where you can kind of see the whole like depth of the front of the convention of the South Hall. I just find it so impressive, even though like nothing happens on like this top part where all of the scaffolding and like is. It's still really cool to take a picture of it every time. So I enjoy taking pictures like this. Like I take this picture like every time. I feel like I'm at Anime Expo. Like I kind of have to, you know. I feel obligated. Um, Thank you for the streakies. Thank you. Um, but yeah, it's always cool seeing Anime Expo like South Hall like fully for the first time because even though it was only day 2, it was actually already day 2. This was my first time seeing this side of the convention, actually. So, which does tend to happen when you're like doing things around the convention center, like concerts or like cosplay and da 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 da. So I liked walking through here for a little bit with my friend. We actually had to go down to Kentia Hall as well for a little bit because I needed to buy something for my mom, but then it was sold out. Or not sold out. It was not even available in person to purchase, which is really frustrating. Like, can I be honest? There's not a whole lot of like booths I was looking for at Anime Expo, but this booth in particular I was looking for. And like, why on earth did this booth have pants in pink and purple, but did not have pants in a standard color of black, which was the one color I wanted for myself and for my mom? Like, I'm sorry, is black no longer a popular color? Is it like not the thing anymore for people to like buy? I was so confused, man. Like I went to that booth and I'm like, dude, where are all the neutrals? Like, does no one wear black anymore? Like, what the fuck? I don't know. I just felt like a lot of booths this year at Anime Expo were very like not putting in the work that they needed to for as big of a convention that this was. But we will get into that later. I have thoughts about that. I really do. But like that was alright. Like it was in Kentia Hall, which if you're not familiar with Kentia Hall is Artist Alley. You can actually see in this photo, Kentia Hall is Artist Alley. The booth I went to though was in the Artist Alley. Because Artist Alley this year was split into half of a Artist Alley and a dealer's hall actually. And so the booth I had to go to was in the hell that was Kentia Hall. And as soon as I did not have what I needed in Kentia Hall, I immediately left. So I left. My friend and I decided we're hungry. Let's go get some food. So we went to the food trucks. All of Figueroa Street. I think all of Figueroa Street and the front of like the convention had basically like been closed off for food trucks. So it was actually really cool to like walk around and be like, okay, well, we ate mushroom fries and like chicken fries and like at the beer garden earlier, we should get some dessert here. And I was like, I want shave ice. Like, that's what I wanted. That's what I needed. I needed some shave ice. And my friend was like, I'll get shave ice too. And so I spent. Oh, also, I got a picture of Donkey Kong at Kentia Hall. He's the leader of the bunch, you know? You know him well. But I got shave ice for a whopping $31 because I also bought a cold brew. This was worth the $18 I paid for. My cold brew was not worth $10. It really wasn't. I should have said no. I should have just said, I'm gonna hold off on the cold brew, but I did need the coffee. Like, I actually. Anime Expo is actually the only convention I ever find myself drinking coffee at because it's the only. Okay, that's a lie. I drink coffee at SakuraCon, but that's because that's Seattle. Seattle is the mecca of coffee. But Anime Expo comes pretty close to having good coffee in the area, too. So, I got a cold brew. And it was good, but it was not $10 good. It was like $6 good. Like, at the most, you could charge $6, but really, you should have been charging me $5. But I already said yes, so I just took the L and enjoyed my shave ice immensely because it was really good. It was really good. The ice was so good. I enjoyed it immensely. The portion was really good. It actually kept me pretty much fed through, like, basically I had to go to Hololive after, like, a couple hours, so in a couple hours, so I was, like, pretty full from this, actually. Plus, like, some mushroom fries I got at the beer garden, because the beer garden had some, like, some cheaper foods, but yes, a lot of it was expensive. For beer garden and food truck specifically, Anime Expo actually implemented a policy. I think this was specifically for food trucks more than beer garden, but for the food trucks, each booth was actually required to have one $10 item. If you didn't know that about Anime Expo. Which I think was really smart of them this year to do because that actually really helped me save a couple dollars here and there. I got some takoyaki for like $9 because of that. So thank you, Anime Expo. That was actually really nice for you guys to implement. I don't know if they did that for Beer Garden. I did not see that in Beer Garden as much, but I digress. It was alright for the coffee. The shave ice, monumental. I would buy this again, even if it was $18. It was worth it though. It was really good. Whatever it is, I'll take 7. Yeah, I would eat another 7. They had other flavors. I would have liked to try those other flavors, but I only got strawberry because I wanted a fruit flavored thing. Well, yeah, while walking around, hi, Iron Mouse. She's doing her meet and greet, but, like, a staff member bent down enough that I could take a photo, so that was kind of cool. Didn't have to pay for a meet and greet, just saw her in the distance. Woo. Did not tag her because that's weird. Mostly because she don't know me, I don't know her. I also was taking a picture of her in her meet and greet. That's weird. To, like, tag her in. So, just, like, it was just walking by. It was just happenstance. And then also more happenstance walking by is the Big West Presents Macross exhibition, which is just two Macross mechas. That's kind of it. It's not really an exhibition, I would say. But this was us walking around after we had. I think this was before food or after. I don't particularly remember. But this is South Hall. South Hall was really nice this year in the sense that things were much more open because everything got moved around between Kentia Hall and West Hall. But I have feelings about that too, so don't worry about it. We'll talk about that more. The Crunchyroll booth was alright. It was alright. I'm gonna say a lot about that. And then, Hololive. Ooh, fun. So Hololive occurred after I had my shaved ice, and then I actually went to Target with my friend because they needed to buy makeup. Um, so I told them like, "Hey, I'll go with you because I have to help you with your makeup anyways." So before Hololive, I go to Target and buy makeup and like a couple other things before we walk back. And then I kind of just chill in the hotel room for a bit before me and like a couple of friends get ready for Hololive. And get ready to go off to Hololive. Um, TLDR about going to Hololive, it was a little messy, but we managed to work it out. It was kind of silly in the end because I ended up having to sit in the trunk of a car to get to Hololive. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. Yay, committing not so legal actions. But for the sake of my Kamiyoshi. Not you packed away with the luggage. Ah, yeah. Don't worry about it. I came out safe and sound. I was a-okay. Very daijobu. It was genchana. Genchana. Yeah, so like we were just lazy and no one wanted to pay for an Uber going. And my friend offered to drive. One of my friends offered to drive, so he was just like he was just like you may have to like some of you may not fit in this car because the five-seater it's like I could sit in the trunk. I'm tiny, you know. That's the Southeast Asian way exactly. Exactly. So it was fine. It's chill. So we got the Hololive. I only attended day one. I did not attend day two, unfortunately. I would have loved to attend day two, but I was too broke to buy two tickets for both days at the time, so I did not do that. So I enjoyed day one Hololive instead, which was immensely fun. I'm so glad I got to see Auto Fisters in real time live, and I got to see Gigi solo. Yay! My goat. She was so good. I loved it. I now have to watch that music video though. I'm not mentally emotionally ready. Um who What I am very surprised by is how much Cecilia Evergreen performed. I didn't know she had that in her. If you like I don't have like a proper count, but I think of like all the all the members next to like Fuamoko, she performed like the most actually. Like across both days. Damn, I couldn't even do one day. Yeah, we had the PvP hard for that. Like my friends and I, we got into like a voice call and like three of us PvP'd for it. We did our bestest. But it was so worth it. It was really good. Um, Bibu doing Ghost was also really cool. There goes the dogs again. Um, Bibu was really cool. I wasn't expecting another purple EN VTuber to sing Ghost. But you know, I'd have two nickels now if that was the case. Auto Fisters is such a great duo. I agree. They're so funny. They're just a really good duo together. Um, Speaking of good duos, Kuroni and Ina singing and covering Bad Apple was absolutely bonkers. That was actually like one of the hugest highlights for me for that evening. Like I was not expecting that. Like I went off so much for no reason. Because it was just like, oh my god, Bad Apple. It was just like everyone in a certain age group, their minds just went like click, like a switch went on and like everybody just in the crowd I think was going wild because it was like, oh my god, it's the song of generations coming on right now. Like we have Bad Apple in the building. Like, oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. Um, I also very much immensely enjoyed Supernova Supergirl. It's such a it's such a funny song. It's such a funny song. Like I love Justice so much. I love both their songs. I'm so sad I didn't get to see them on day two. I didn't get to see Above and Below, and I didn't get to see the amazing transition of Advent into Justice like live. But it's okay. I'm just gonna watch the VOD later. But I really liked the day one performance. I do wish in an ideal world, they could have just like done both performances and like done it for like all the performances across both days, and just let the concert be 3 hours. But I imagine like there were budget restrictions, there were like technological restrictions. Hell, there might have been even physical restrictions. Like, as much as like some of these girls are like capable of performing, you have to remember a lot of them just sit in chairs all day. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I sit in a chair all day too. That's my job. I work an office job. But not every single girly on the channel, every single Hololive girly, it has the same endurance levels as others. So I wouldn't be surprised if like health was a huge factor in the reason why not every girl like danced and sang for both days. But, hopeful wishing has me think like I wish they would have done us all the performances on both days. But it's okay. It's all right. We move on. Um, After like the Hololive concert, my friends and I Ubered back home in a proper Uber this time. We took an XL. We took an XL because we were a pretty large group again, and so we made sure we drove back safely, and then we got some boba at the Persona 30th anniversary booth before calling it a night. I got some tanghulu. I'm a little bit mad about the lady because the lady offered a discount and then she lied in my fucking face by saying no discount, and then I still paid for it because I'm a chump. And I wanted some fruit at the end of the night, so I bought tanghulu, but whatever. It was fine. It was kind of gross. I should have been given a discount, but what do I know? Yes, the June's booth. The June's booth, yes. The Persona 30th anniversary booth. It was chill. It was cool. I didn't get any boba, but my friends did. It was way too late for boba, guys. Like, I was already going to ruin my sleep schedule further if I had any caffeine at that time. So I kind of just held off for myself, but I got myself some tanghulu. Some non-discounted end of day tanghulu. And fuck that bitch. She should have given me the discount. But day 3 was kind of a big day cuz that was the day like I was going to be in a huge cosplay group. Like that was huge cosplay group if like a lot of prep needed. So there wasn't a whole lot of time to go into the convention in the morning. In an ideal world where I didn't have to get ready like super early in the morning and have to do like help for like my friend's makeup, I probably would have gone to the Bang Zoom VA audition panel because I was kind of interested in auditioning, but also kind of interested in seeing like what auditions are like in general. Because this was the first time Bang Zoom had hosted auditions in a really long time, and the thing is that I don't know if they're gonna do it again, but it's fine. It's whatever. Um, I well, we'll never know because like I just didn't attend that panel entirely. But what I ended up doing was getting ready in cosplay, having some kimbap that my friend ordered instead. And once we got into cosplay, just kind of walked around with my friends, in a group for a bit, just enjoying the day, enjoying the convention, because there were just parts of the convention I just kind of hadn't seen yet. And so it was alright. Walked around South Hall a bit more, walked around West Hall a bit more. Overall, like, I think what I really enjoyed most was spending time with my friends. I spent time with them, and that was really good. Um, we also did a group Pop Mart plush pull. I think I have photos of that. Serendipity, more serendipity, so more serendipity. Yes, Auto Fisters, yay! But kind of coming back to pictures of day 3, just like pictures I took. Particularly, I like taking pictures of things that interest me, not because I experienced them, but just because I thought they were interesting. Because I like parts of these things. For example, Ghost in the Shell. I'm excited for this coming out. Actually, it's out today. I haven't watched it yet, but it is out today as of the time we are on stream here. So I'm excited to give it a watch on Prime Video. And then, just some more pictures of stuff I thought that was cool. You went to the premiere panel? Lucky you. I didn't do that. Just some more pictures of thing include. Oh, this is day 4, so we won't get to that just yet. Actually, no. This is from day 3. Yeah, day 3. Yoko Takahashi's signature in the middle there, along with her 30th anniversary edition LP. I didn't buy it because I didn't really want to buy it. But this is the plushie I got with my friends. So my friends and I went to this booth, and it's kind of like Pop Mart, but kind of not. And we bought a box of plushies to do like a pull together. And so I got this one. And it really matches 2B, doesn't it? Like, don't they look like they're matching? They're friends now. They're friends now. But dang, you got to see the first 2 episodes of Ghost in the Shell. Damn, lucky you. Damn. I would have loved to seen that. I don't know why I didn't watch it. I think it's because I had something else at the same time. Um, I don't remember what it was. It was probably dinner because I had dinner with friends that evening and it was my friend's birthday, so that kind of takes priority because they don't like Ghost in the Shell. I think I'm the only one in my friend group who like really likes Ghost in the Shell immensely. At least enough that I'm like taking a picture of the standee and advertisement. But I really do like my plushie, my new plush. It's not from like Pop Mart. It's like from something else. But they're kind of like Pop Mart, in the way that they have those like gotcha boxes. So I like it a lot. I liked mine. I'm like pleasantly surprised with my pull, especially because she matches 2B. So I'm pretty happy with my results, all things considered. And so after that, after a while of walking, we went for dinner. Oh, actually, even before dinner, like I stopped by South Hall's like Brown Dust 2 booth. Just because like as we were walking around, I just thought, oh, this is huge. This is like a cute thing to take a picture of, and I took a picture of the cosplayers because like I I know this cosplayer, like I know of this cosplayer. She does a lot of like the black cosplayer in the middle, particularly. She does a lot of different cosplays of dark skinned characters. And honestly, I think this is the first time a booth has ever had a black like or dark skinned official cosplayer at Anime Expo. Like I've never seen one up until this day. So I thought that was really cool that it happened. And the cosplayers were really cute and pretty, and so I took a picture because I'm weak. But after that, it was time to get out of cosplay and get ready for dinner. Um, you got a friend's birthday during con too? Yeah, it's always fun to celebrate someone's like birthday going on near a con because like everyone actually gets together. Everyone can actually get together and like do stuff because it's hard to bring people together sometimes. Uh, yeah. Dinner was really fun. After dinner, we went to a restaurant that could seat 20 people once again. And enjoyed some pasta. I had some really yummy pasta and got to regret missing day 2 of Hololive at dinner because I missed all the Blood Raven Yuri and their cover of Eva opening Team 1. Uh, I'm sad. I know it's available for free, but it's not the same. It's not the same, chat. It's not. It's okay. It is what it is. Um, but I'm sad that I missed Peaked Live. But it's okay. Um, Dinner was fun. Dinner was also kind of a shit show because like my friend got cakes for her birthday, but we tried to keep it a secret from them for like the longest time. But like the waiter just kept fucking shit up. Like this guy, like the waiters just could not stop talking about it was our friend's birthday. And fortunately, we didn't bring the cakes down to the like restaurant that we went to because they were like, oh, it's a $2.50 like fee for like every cake you like slice we cut. And I'm like our whole group was like consecutively like, we're not gonna pay that amount, so we're just gonna keep the cakes in the hotel room rather than bring them to the restaurant that we're gonna go to. So we didn't bring them, fortunately. So she didn't know about these cakes until like way, way, way later, fortunately. But it was still just like a shit show trying to hide these cakes for like the longest time because like literally every waiter was just like, I heard it was a birthday. And I'm like, yeah, we kind of didn't want to talk about that. But all right, it's already out, I guess. So we just ended up talking about it. And then, like, they got the restaurant gave her a cake as well. So, like, it kind of was like a red herring in a way. But it was also just, like, really frustrating because I'm like, dude, like, stop. Like, we're trying to make this a surprise. Like, stop mentioning the fact that it's a birthday. Like, all these waiters. So I'm like, bruh, you need to hide cakes, just eat them. Um, No, we just hid them in like other people's rooms instead. And we got some like utensils from JW Marriott instead. So like we brought them to this room, like one of the bigger rooms, and decided like we were going to hide in the dark to like surprise my friend, like who's it was her birthday, but like yo, like it was so awkward in the way that like the surprise like was gonna be done. So like typically when you're like going to surprise someone in the dark, like you're gonna like pop out as soon as the person walks in, right? Tell me why. Almost 20 people could not get their shit together to pop out after a door opens to say surprise. Like, it was just oh my goodness. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, everything just fell apart. Like, people just could not figure out, like, when was the time to pop up. Like, I opened the door too, so, like, I have nowhere to hide really except behind the door. And, like, the thing is that my friend walked up so far that, like, and no one popped up for so long that she turns around and is like, who's behind the door? And I'm like, hi, I'm behind the door. It's me, Kingo, behind the door, trying not to like fuck this up. But apparently everyone else already has for me, so I'm just here now. And then like I think by the time like she steps into like what is basically halfway into the room, then everyone pops up and like turns on lights and turns on like it's just so awkward by then. Then I'm like, oh my god, we've lost the element of surprise here. We lost the element of surprise actually like 5 seconds ago, but what do I know? I was just the one opening the door. Cake was still good. It was really yummy. We got an opera cake and a tiramisu cake because this was a large party of people. And so we enjoyed cake. We let them eat cake as you could say, and ended up watching Initial D in live action, which I didn't know was a thing. I didn't know Initial D had a live action in Chinese in particular, which was the interesting part of the whole thing. That was really weird. I'm just gonna be honest and say that it was weird. I don't really remember much about Initial D, but I don't think that's how the movie. I don't think the anime matched the movie very well. But it was funny. It was really funny. Oh, it's an old one. Yeah, it's like 2004 or 5. I looked it up because I was like, how old is this movie? Because if you watch the movie, it's available on YouTube for free, by the way. That's how we watched it. We watched it on YouTube for free. If you watch it, there's so many cuts that remind you of like a PS1, PS2 Need for Speed video game cutscene. Like there's so many cutscene like cuts in the film, which is weird because I'm like, isn't this supposed to be based off an anime? Why are we cutting this and like editing this and like putting this out in a way that makes it feel more like a video game? Like it was cool, but I was like, but they didn't do it all the time, so it was really jarring when it happened. They combined a ton of races. Interesting. I don't. I think they like tried to combine like a couple seasons in one, which by the way never works out when you do a live action. It never works out. So like, it was just everything, so much everywhere. Um, it was just a really like just, it was just kind of one of those movies where it's like, well, it's on, it's coming on. I guess we'll just click it and see what happens. And so we did that. And so kind of just let that happen. You just kind of let that happen. And so with that comes day 4, the last day of the convention, the last day I have in Los Angeles before I go home. I wake up again around like 8:30. Actually, I wake up almost a little bit closer to 9. I slept in that day. um, and so like I pretty much was just getting ready to leave. That's kind of how the convention was going for me. But like, I did make sure to insist to my friends who were driving back with me, or either I was driving back with them because I'm not that one actually driving. I'm just hopping carpooling with them. I did insist with my friends that I wanted to go watch um, the Super Dimensions Macross movie remastered before it like con ended. What's the full title of this actually? The full title is The Super Dimension Fortress Macross Do You Remember Love from 1984. They remastered this movie and it was at 12 to like I want to say like 2ish. Yeah. And so I went to watch that. Like that was the last thing I did at the convention. Like I did a couple other things. Like I saw one artist I really wanted to see. I did that. I saw I don't know how to pronounce their name actually. It's spelled Nxctes. But I don't know how to pronounce their name. They're an artist I who's black, and I got interested in them because they did the model art for a mutual I have. So I was like, oh, they're gonna be at Anime Expo. I should say hi. I should buy something from them, and then just go. And so I just said hi. I bought a charm from them, and then I left. And then yeah, I went to the Macross panel after buying some takoyaki. I watched Macross. It was really good. The audio echoed a little bit and was slightly delayed, but overall, like the important parts were synced up and sounded great, and that's all that really matters. So yeah, I enjoyed myself at Anime Expo overall. It was pretty good, all things considered. Um, One second, no momento, por favor. Um, where was I? Thought process wise. Um, I mean Macross, right? Macross. Yeah, that was cool. It was cool. People were singing like the like the panel like heads wanted us to sing like the I love you so part from Do You Remember Love. So that was really fun because also everyone did hand motions. You can see in the next clip. That's takoyaki. Oh, those are cosplayers. Those were cosplayers from the Macross movie showing. They did really good. Their cosplays were really nice. It was such a pleasant surprise. But then everyone's saying the last line to Macross, "Do you remember love?" So that was quite interesting. And then yeah, AX was over. These are like just a bunch of other visuals I have. Some repeat images, some just images I thought were cool. Yeah. I don't know why I uploaded that, but this was just really funny on the car ride. And then more Iron Mouse. Some really cool standees. The standees are really cute. I don't know why this picture doubled up, but yeah, I don't know. There's just some weird. I guess I wasn't thinking too much when I like uploaded some of these. I guess some of them doubled up. Anime Expo. Quite the different experience compared to other conventions I've been to. Yeah, this year, if I'm gonna be kind of real, like this is the time where I'm gonna be like giving feedback. Like not so happy times now. Um, I think you can kind of tell from like the caption here when I write like 10 out of 10 for vibes, 2 out of 10 for artist alley gentrification. Um, I feel like in comparison to 2025, this year's Anime Expo was a bit lackluster, not just in part to a lot of the construction that really messed up and basically broke down Anime Expo's infrastructure, but also a lot of the industry booths themselves. So when I say that, it's basically kind of like a two-parter, you know? So there's first part about the infrastructure is as a result of all the construction surrounding the LACC, two entrances that were available last year for Anime Expo 2025 were no longer available this year. This, of course, is going to cause an increase in traffic. And so you saw a lot more delays in entry and exiting than you probably would have saw in last year if you attended Anime Expo. I would argue in terms of navigation and traffic, last year's Anime Expo was some of the best I'd ever seen from the convention as a whole. By opening up two more entrances and an entire lower area underneath the bridge walkway for people to walk around in and for food trucks to be in, even if Figueroa Street was fully closed down for all those food trucks in front of the convention, it doesn't really mean anything. Hello, hi. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. Thank you to Unspoken Legendary. I am what a medical professional likes to call mentally ill. Girl, you and me both. You think I'm VTubing because I'm healthy? No. No. Always leave one man alive to tell a tale, leave none is to leave no one to fear me. Girl, I'm a dude. I'm gonna call you girl, whether regardless of your gender. Bitch, I'll call you a bitch. And that's just on period. Anyways, hi, welcome to the channel where we're talking about Anime Expo and how I really feel about it. I am continuing you, a meteor goldfish who offers a lot to you, and hopefully in the near future I shall. Work diva, I'll throw a fucking brick at your head. You could just go, there's actually nothing stopping you. Anyways, back to more important things. Anime Expo, how I felt about it. She was doing too much with too little to work with. You know? Like I said about the infrastructure, it was kind of shit. It was kind of bad. Because they had like two entrances essentially blocked off. Two entrances essentially blocked off. You know, entry and exit was kind of a shit show this year, to the point, you know, they weren't letting people in or out of the convention center. And so as a result, I think the convention was a lot more rough than it usually would have been. And so That was a huge factor with the infrastructure of things, and so allowing people to come in and out or not come in and out was probably a huge factor to things. What else about it was bad besides like speaking on infrastructure? Oh yeah, the fact that Artist Alley at Anime Expo was like fully cut in half. Some folks on the channel said that this was their first Anime Expo. Fun fact: last year's Anime Expo had 900 artists. This year they cut that number in half. Approximately like 400 artists only made it in. And so like you can kind of see how that really affected the convention. Especially if you have like a historical understanding of the convention like I do, having been for almost 10 years. Um, I think them cutting Artist Alley in half was probably the worst thing they could have done for themselves. Like, genuinely, actually, one of the worst things Anime Expo has ever done historically. Because you know what ended up happening to all those folks who couldn't make it in? To all those folks who, like, basically were cut out from this year's Anime Expo? All those artists just ended up hosting their own Artist Alley at Little Tokyo instead. And a good amount of people who went to Anime Expo actually went to that Artist Alley instead. So Anime Expo literally lost like a portion of their demographic to this separate event. Damn, so you're saying I missed out Anime Expo at its peak? I wouldn't say that because I don't know when Anime Expo really peaked. Like I would say 2025 was really good, but that's because I had things to do that I wanted to see and I was able to enjoy those things. And it's not to say I didn't enjoy myself this year either. I just think that there were aspects of Anime Expo this year that could have been improved. Um, like Artist Alley. Artist Alley is getting gentrified. They are literally cutting the amount of artists in half. I don't understand why they would do that. Um, and I mean, it's the fact that they just don't respect artists, even though they're the backbone of the community, which is absolutely bonkers to me. Um, but they made that choice, and I think that's really a detriment to the entire convention than the benefit. Alongside that, they have decided that they just want more industry booths to take the forefront instead. So a lot of South Hall and West Hall is entirely of industry booths now. All of these smaller businesses that used to have a place in the South Hall moved down to Kentia Hall, and that's why you have half of Artist Alley missing essentially in the convention. And so, although West and South Hall were much easier to navigate because there weren't as many booths crowding both spaces, I can't speak the same for Kentia Hall because they just kind of decided like Kentia Hall is not what we want at the focus, it's not what we want at the forefront. Um, and we don't want as many artists, so we're just gonna cut and we want I don't understand what the reasoning is from like a management standpoint or even from like like a shareholder standpoint because I don't know if this was like a financial choice or just from like a building like choice of like the fire marshal like actually like might have told them like hey from like a spacing standpoint this just wasn't gonna work. Like I can't explain the full reasons for it because I'm not somebody who has ever worked a convention in that capacity. But I imagine from a planning standpoint, Anime Expo executives had to make a decision about where they were going to put certain parts of the convention where. And their choice was to put all industry booths in the South and West Hall and just move any smaller businesses down to Kentia Hall and cut Artist Alley in half to accommodate those smaller businesses, which is really unfortunate for the artists particularly. Small businesses also too do not get a really good deal out of this because they are now stuck in an area that is really difficult to navigate. Like it's been said year over year, Kentia Hall is just not somewhere that is easy to navigate. Some people just avoid Kentia Hall as a whole. People don't go to AA. I'm actually one of those individuals. I don't go into Artist Alley at Anime Expo because there is far too many people and it is extremely overwhelming because of the amount of people crowding. It is literally a fire hazard. It is literally a health hazard. Yearly, somebody records the CO2 levels, and this year, those CO2 levels were the highest they had ever been down in Kentia Hall. And I do not understand why Anime Expo makes that decision every year. They literally create their own ticking time bomb every time they make Kentia Hall as crowded as it is. And that's not even to like go on about the decisions that they made to move all entertainment that was formerly in the West Hall to its own miniature tent in a parking lot. Yes, I remembered about that. Someone mentioned it earlier, and we got to that. Hey, that I think was planning that was necessary. That was smart in its own way because entertainment needs its own space. Gaming needs its own space. But I don't think West Hall was the place for it any further. Do I think setting up a whole separate tent was the best plan for Anime Expo? I don't know. I actually haven't been to that area yet, so I can't speak on it actually. And that in itself is a problem because even though I knew where the area was, I had no insight to explore that area. And also, that area is the place where they have a lot of cosplay setups. I don't know if people even know about that anymore. Like, newer Anime Expo, like, attendees, do you know about the fact that Anime Expo has cosplay sets at their convention for your convenience if you cosplay something? But, but if you don't, like, how would you know if it's not even in the main part of the convention where most people frequent? Like, you'd have to check a map, which not really many people own anymore at Anime Expo. And the only way to really access, like, an easy, like, in your pocket, perhaps, map would be your phone on the Anime Expo app, which is also historically never had the best UI. It still doesn't have the best UI to this day, but it's serviceable enough. But again, how would you know about this? Other than the fact that you just historically had that knowledge, because I've been going to this convention for almost 10 years, but not everybody has. And they had that set all the way in Entertainment Hall when it used to be in the West Hall, just like all of the gaming stuff used to be. But instead, Anime Expo has made the executive decision to just put a bunch of industry booths into West Hall instead, and a bunch of smaller businesses into West Hall instead. And just ignore a lot of its community run ventures. For what reason? Again, I cannot tell you. I don't know. I'm not behind the big chairs. I'm not in the hot seat. I'm not in the big seat of making these decisions. And I know some of these decisions aren't out of like, oh, we don't care about the communities like ran events. Like, who cares about them? Like, screw them. Like, they're just gonna have to live with it and suffer. It's like, I don't think that's all entire. It's not all entirely out of malice, but it is certainly out of a desire to fill more of the money makers. Certainly the money makers. And so I think this year, so much of Anime Expo could have been improved on if it wasn't for lack of infrastructure. But I will say I don't think all of the fault of my convention experience lies on the lack of infrastructure and the amount of traffic. Personally, I did not find very many booths at Anime Expo this year to be particularly attractive. As somebody who's worked in the marketing industry, and has a distinct eye for aesthetics. I do think I'm fairly qualified to talk about out of home marketing and how I believe a lot of the booths at Anime Expo this year really were lackluster in their choices of architecture this year. I don't think this year's Anime Expo industry booths really did as well as they did compared to 2025. And by that I mean many interactive events felt very difficult to see, and there was, I think, a lack of theming for many booths this year outside of certain booths. Like, of course, when it comes to gaming booths such as like the gotcha games, they're going to stick to having a theme around their gotcha and perhaps around like what new character they're coming out with, or like what part of the storyline they're in right now. That's their main theme. However, I noticed that for a number of these booths, if there wasn't an interactive experience, like, say, a photo op with cosplayers, or one or two games, like carnival games, actually, a lot of carnival games for themes this year, alongside freebies, I noticed that it was a lot of just blank walls. Logos on blank walls and screens, and just a square for a good number of significant booths. And using those screens, they had, their events, they had their showcases. But then some of these other larger industry booths did not really do much with a theme. I noticed Crunchyroll didn't really have too much going on that really would attract me into going into their booth, and as a result, I didn't. I found that because there weren't as many releases for this summer, we just didn't have as many booths for games even this year. Last year, there were releases for things like League and even like Silent Hill that were coming out for out of the woodwork at Anime Expo. And this year we had Blade at the forefront and Gotcha Lake Pond as a booth. And so it's like choices like these where you kind of keep your booth a bit more minimalistic had me very confused because I wasn't sure if it was like, again, a financial issue because we are in a recession. Um, but I don't think that should detract from the fact that if you want people to come into your booth, you should have something visually interesting enough that makes you want to go to it. Like, the name isn't enough for me, personally. The name isn't enough for me because I've been to conventions long enough that I don't need to buy anything anymore. I don't need anything new. If anything, I'm actually in a time of my life where I gotta downsize. So if you, like, unless you got something really attractive going on, I'm really not actually interested. And I think like last year, there was a lot more interesting interactive booths overall across a lot of these industry booths. But because so many anime that were very prevalent last year have kind of come to an end, or they're a bit on a pause and a lull, there wasn't so much of a theme for some of these industry booths to pull from outside of the gotcha games. So it was a little bit difficult, I think, this year for them to think of something interesting to bring some of, like, I would say, our more returning audiences towards. Like, if you were a newcomer to AX, like, I'm sure a lot of this stuff was, like, brand new and shiny to you. I'm so glad if you had a lot of fun at the convention. Because there was plenty to do. There are plenty of panels to go to. There are plenty of sites to see, actually. And you got a lot of freebies from a lot of these booths. I'm not saying there was absolutely nothing to do. But I will say is I do think some of these booths could have done a much better job because they really popped off for no reason last year. And then to come back this year and see a little more less was a bit disappointing. Because I always sort of expect more out of these booths each and every year. And so we have another ad coming up soon. And with that, I think we'll have some closing remarks very shortly. But it is interesting to note that also part of South Hall was under construction. So why that makes sense as to why a number of booths got moved to West Hall and Kentia Hall. But I have thoughts about that in our closing remarks. So we'll be back shortly, and I will see you soon. Hey, we're back. So, some closing remarks about Anime Expo. Because, where do we go from here? Well, where I went was home, after the convention and all, but from like a medical physical like future standpoint, um next time I will still be going to Anime Expo, honestly. Like, if I can't not see myself not going. I like the convention. There's aspects of the convention and its surrounding events that I really enjoy that I just can't help but not attend to. Like, if Hololive continues again in LA during July 4th weekend, which happens to be the same weekend as Anime Expo, like I'm going to that. Like there's just no if and or buts. Like I'm just going to attend that. Like I like to do stuff in between that. It's like, yeah, I could go to other places in the area, but it's like, well, Anime Expo's going to happen at the same time. I might as well just buy a badge and like check out some of the interesting premieres too that happen, because the thing about Anime Expo is, unlike other conventions, it is predominantly industry based. So you can't help but see so much of like the industry there. You're always just going to see that aspect of it about the convention. So it's like, well, nothing you can do about it. But there's always aspects of the convention that can be improved. It's never ending. Everyone always complains about, particularly the crowd. And I don't think the crowding is entirely just a, what's the word? Oh, in a convention like issue, like a convention itself issue, actually. I'd argue it's a people issue. I'd argue it's entirely a people issue, in its own way. Um, a lot of people don't know how to walk. A lot of people do not have a good understanding of their surroundings. They have no spatial awareness, and that especially shows with a bunch of socially avoidant, with no cues to their head, no capabilities of reading the room nerds. Weebs don't know how to walk. Some of them never touch grass. How do you expect them to traverse through a convention? So, a lot of traffic can be alleviated really by the people. If they just knew how to walk and actually looked in front of their own 2 feet, rather than just staring at their phone the whole time, or like gooning at their like brand new body pillow or freebie. Body pillows are kind of out of style these days, actually. I'm showing my age there. It's really more the freebies these days, aren't it? It's more of the body pillow sized freebies. I'm looking at you, bags. I'm looking at all these bags. I don't like those bags. I unfortunately have one of those bags. I particularly got a Honkai Star Rail bag because I wanted the Fate tickets. I have a bag from this convention, and I'm just going to use it to store stuff again. And not all of these folks are cosplayers. I will say that. Not every single one is a cosplayer. Some of them, you kind of just have to, like, take the brunt of it because they are cosplayers and in cosplay. But a good amount of cosplayers are actually, I would argue, better at walking around because they have to be cautious of their surroundings. They have to be spatially aware of their surroundings. There's some people out here in the comfiest of fits walking the opposite direction of the flow of traffic. And when it's not just one of these dumbasses, but multiple dumbasses doing the exact same thing at a time, traffic. And so, and that's on period. It becomes a doo-doo clown mess, is what it happens when no one's looking the right way on where to go and like what the flow of traffic feels like, because they're looking at their phones. They never touch grass in their lives, and they're in cosplay. Who knows, whatever. But like I would a lot of like issues did stem from just flow of traffic and a lack of any ordinance. Because how do you expect weebs to walk properly without any enforcement? Because trust me, the volunteers aren't going to enforce anything unless like someone is actively like getting murdered visibly. They're not doing anything. They don't got time for that. They don't get paid enough for that. Make a walking propaganda anime. Who knows? Maybe that's what we need. I walk around plenty. I walk around almost every time I have a 15-minute break at my job. But I am not the standard, but an exception. A beautiful exception. And I do hope that people take that in mind when I say stuff like this. Granted, this might not end up being a video on YouTube. This was kind of long. I might try to edit it down. I might not. We'll see. Um, but Anime Expo is cool. I'd go again. I'll see it again. I'll be back. For better or for worse. And I'll just have to deal with that hotel block all over again. But overall, I think I enjoyed myself immensely. Next year, I hope I don't cosplay as much as I did this year, but that's probably not going to be the case. I feel like I'm just going to get stuck in cosplay again. Reluctantly. They don't get paid at all. I actually do think volunteers, some of them do get paid. I do believe there is a paid opportunity for convention workers, not volunteers per se, but convention workers, yes, they are paid. Actually, I think I was told by one of the workers themselves at one point at Anime Expo, they were getting paid about like 20 to 30, depending on the role, for the whole weekend. So, some of them get paid, but not the ones who are hired by the convention themselves. Just the convention building staff. There's a difference. You can tell. Mostly by the uniform. And also kind of by the expression of, am I happy to be here or am I not happy to be here? But yeah, this convention is expensive. I'm lucky enough to live in the state itself, so I don't really have to pay for god-awful expensive flights like some people do, which is why I kind of end up going every year anyways. It does help that there's a lot of cool stuff going on at the convention itself, but I think a lot of the problems do stem from the fact that it is still at its core, in the last couple of years, industry-based rather than community-based. And, you know, that's not everyone's cup of tea. Sometimes it's not even my cup of tea. But for the right fandom, it certainly, I will gulp down that tea real quick. So, AX, once again, I stand by my statement. 10 out of 10 vibes, 2 out of 10 for gentrification and infrastructure. I just hope they improve on that next year once the construction's a little done and over with, because they got to get ready for the Olympics, by the way. That's in 2028. Yeah. So that's going to happen. Stay tuned. That's going to be a whole nother type of thing on its own. Trust. For now, though, I'll be calling it a night. I'll be seeing you all next time on Friday. On Friday, when my diva, Jubilation Lee, comes out on Marvel Rivals. TLDR, the entire game is basically being reverted into, like, Marvel Rivals 2. It's kind of like we're back in, like, Season 0 Chaos again, which I'm actually really excited for. I think some people are like, oh god, it's gonna be so much, and I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna be so much. I can't wait. So I look forward to it. Please stay tuned to watch me try to get my diva, my new main, Jubilation Lee, as much as possible. And if I don't get Jubilation Lee, I'm just going to crash out and kill myself. That's a joke. For now, I will see you all in the next one. We're going to find someone to raid, but of course. And, you know, then we'll be done. Then we'll be really done. But thank you for stopping by, whether you've been here for a moment, an hour, or the whole stream. I hope y'all enjoyed my little rant about Anime Expo. Actually, before we go, we can talk a little bit more. I'm lying. I talked a lot about my experience with Anime Expo. I hope, for those of you who went, you enjoyed yourself. I heard some of you guys in your experiences too, here and there. But I do hope, if you have any opinions you'd like to state here and now, speak now or forever hold your peace. I'll give you a couple moments. Take your time. I know not everybody's on their PCs. Some of y'all are mobile warriors, which is brave. So brave. So brave. I don't know how some of y'all do it. I barely have any tolerance for it while I'm at work. Like, sometimes I'll watch someone on mobile at work and I'm like, I hate this. How do some of y'all do this? I'm too lazy to type now. Aw, it's okay. You can just type about it later in Discord then if you have real feelings about it. If you're really feeling some type of way. It was definitely an interesting first experience. But like a good way? In a good way? In a good way? Because interesting could mean a lot of things. I could have just said my experience at Anime Expo was interesting. In a good way. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I have fun. Okay, cool. So very much in like a, I would go back in the same way. Like I would go back. I'd go back again. If so, best of luck. I'd say the hardest part about Anime Expo is the fact that you basically buy your badge and then literally an hour later you are going through the Hunger Games of hotel blocks. So I've been going for 20 years. Why stop now? That's a really, you got tenure, man. I can see why you'd want to keep going. You kind of can't stop. I'm gonna be there one day. I'm almost at 10 years. I mean, I'm almost at 10, so it's like at this point, like, might as well hit the 20, right? Right? Might as well hit that 10, right? Right? Like, I'm not gonna stop either. One of my friends was talking about this. It's like, what are we gonna do when we stop going to conventions? I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna stop anytime soon, though. Like, I think I'm gonna keep going until I can't walk no more. And even then, I'm gonna try. I remember when AX was a nonprofit organization. I thought they were still considered a nonprofit. Are they no longer considered a nonprofit? I'm not using Anime Expo as like the proper place. Anime Expo is still organized by the nonprofit Society for the Promotion of Japanese Animation. Supposedly. Supposedly. The organizational structure for the for the Promotion of Japanese Animation is structured in a way that so how it works is currently it is still produced by the Society for Promotion of Japanese Animation, which is still a nonprofit charitable organization based out of the Metro Los Angeles suburb of Corona. Before that, April 1st, 2020, they were registered as a nonprofit trade benefit organization. What's the difference? What's the difference? So, a nonprofit charitable organization seeks to promote and improve business conditions for a specific type of business. Improving business conditions for all types of businesses are not generally qualifying. An association that promotes the common interests of certain hobbyists would not qualify because of the Internal Revenue Service and not consider hobbies to be activities conducted as businesses. Oh, an organization whose primary activity is advertising the products or service of its members does not qualify neither. So why is... So why is Anime Expo a charitable or nonprofit charitable organization? I'm confused. Oh, I guess it's because it's not organized for profit and no part of the net earnings goes to the benefit of any private shareholder or individual, supposedly, that we know of. Whereas what they previously were, which was a nonprofit trade benefit organization, is an organization that applies to entities that are organized, operated exclusively for religious, charitable, scientific, literary, or educational purposes. I think Japanese animation falls more towards literary or educational, or for testing for public safety, or to foster national or international amateur sports competitions, or the prevention of cruelty to animals or children. I think it's mostly literary educational purposes that Anime Expo used to fall under. These are all very like finicky law things that aren't really that important and interesting, I would say, but I just got really deep into Wikipedia and the sauce. Don't mind me. I do this a lot. You just saw me do it live. Leave me alone. I just got interested. I was interested in information. What's wrong with learning? Damn. Some of y'all need to read more. Speaking of reading, this is on a totally different tangent, but I've been really getting into Project Hail Mary fanfiction. So you can blame Keishan Shinobi for that one, because he watched the movie in our community, in his community Discord one time. So, why so defense? Y'all make me feel like I shouldn't. I feel nervous. 100% need to plan out which panels you don't want to miss because them lines are rough. Yeah, everyone wants to go to the same things. Who would have thought? I think we've dragged this on for a while now. I think we've been going at this for a bit, for long enough. We can call it a night here. So, here's our little raid message. It's really nice to be back. I'm so sorry. My schedule's still gonna be hella whack, but I think you guys have already known that. I keep saying it, but like I keep wanting to apologize because I too wish my schedule could be a little bit more back to normal, but unfortunately we don't get what we want all the time. It's not like I'm not having fun. I'm really excited for Offkai, guys. I'm getting business cards ready, so I'm really excited for that. And I'll see you guys on the next one, okay? I'll see you on Friday. I'm looking for someone to raid. Someone to raid. Someone to raid. Maybe someone new. I was here the whole time but listening. Thanks. I appreciate that. Even if like you didn't want to listen, that's okay. Oh my gosh. I wonder if this is clickbait, but apparently someone broke their foot at Anime Expo, so I'm going to raid them. I hope their foot's okay. But apparently they broke their foot by DDRing too close to the sun. Am I going to watch or go over Berlin Fan Fest? Oh my gosh, I should, huh? I might think about it. When's Fan Fest? Berlin Fan Fest. Is that coming up soon? That is coming up soon, ain't it? July 25th. I can't actually do anything much about it. I can't. It's during off Kai. I can't watch it. I can't watch. I can watch it, but I can't live stream about it much. Because I'll be stuck at off Kai, guys. Aw. Maybe I'll watch after. Maybe I'll like live tweet it. The way I live tweeted, yeah, I can still go over after, yeah. Or like I live tweeted a lot of Rival stuff during the live stream today. That live stream was long, guys. That season 9 premiere was 2 hours long. It was like almost 2 hours, I think. It was long. That's all I remember. But I'm still digressing. I'm still digressing. I was supposed to say goodbye. We were supposed to raid over to this person. I hope I didn't end yet. Okay, they're still going. They're still going. They're watching some YouTube now, so they definitely are done about talking about Anime Expo properly. Apocalypse got murdered. He did, but we're not talking about him. We're talking about Jubilee. We're gonna talk about Jubilee. She's more important. She's great. I love her. I can't wait to play her and have her as my new main. It's gonna be fun. But for now, I'm really actually gonna go now. For real. But bedtime. We'll talk about it more on Friday. Good night again. Yeah, thanks. It's good seeing you all. It's nice to be back. I know things will be busy again and I'll be ramping up for shit, but what you can look forward to is some more clips in the future. You should check out my Gachiakta ranking video if you haven't yet. And lastly, I will have more model design previews posted shortly. Yeah. Let's say hi to Buffy Mutt, who's watching some YouTube after having broken their foot at Anime Expo. Unfortunate. I hope their foot isn't actually actually broken. I hope it was kind of clickbait, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, bye now.